Hello friends, welcome back to our Java series which is computer application class 9th and class 10th ICSE boards. So today in this video we will be going to discuss one of the very important topic that are the literals. So literals in Java. As we have discussed earlier also, we have different type of variables and we store value into it. So the constant value that we are assigning to a variable, that is nothing but a literal. As we know that in Java we are having total 8 data types, which are the primitive data types. Those primitive data types are classified like this way, which is integral, right? And we have floating point, and we are having character, which is char, and after char we are having the boolean. So these four are the main categories. Now integral data types are those data types, these are the numbers, that the for sure integral numbers, integers, basically the numbers that doesn't contain the decimal, or you for example numbers like this, right? 2.8. So these type of numbers are not allowed in integral. Integral are the decimal numbers. Decimal numbers are like those numbers which are like 1, 2, 3, so on, all the numbers which doesn't have the decimal point, this floating point, right? When we have to do programming related to decimal numbers, we will go with the floating point literals, right? For example, the data type we have in floating point, which is float, and the double. So these two data type we are having in the floating point, right? And then we are having a character, right? We have char for that, and one more data type we have, which is boolean, another category of this primitive data type. So like totally we calculate 4 plus 2, 6 plus 2, total 8 primitive data types we have, right? Now when we have all these of type integer, so then why we are, for example, all these will store the number, then why we are having 4 data types? Like if it is only integer only, then we are good to go. Like if each and every data type present in this category store only the number, then what's the difference? So the difference is the ranges. Every data type is having a different range. So we will also discuss about the ranges, right? Let me give you some few examples, and let us explain this literals in a more deep. Then we will be going to move ahead, right? Now see, let me erase this. Now I am writing here byte, B-Y-T-E, byte, right? So I am writing byte, and now this is a data type. We are giving it a variable, let's say a, which is equals to 15. So this is acceptable? Yes, it's acceptable. So what are the numbers that is not acceptable? So byte is having some range. Okay, it is like, yeah, minus 127 to 128, right? So all these numbers are come in the range of byte. So whenever we have the value that suits in this number, which is not going out or beyond all this numbers, or in this range of number series, if we have a number, then we are good with the byte, right? And in case we are having a numbers which are greater than that, so we will go to short. Even more greater than short len, then integer. Even more greater than integer, then we have the long. So this is how all these values are we have. Now whenever you are writing, let's say long, right? So byte, short, integer, and long, we are having these two subcategories in integral data types. So whenever you are writing long, so it's very important to understand the syntax of a long. You will write long, then you will be going to write a variable, and then you will be going to assign a literal. Let's say I am assigning a large number, 999999999. It's a really large number, right? But when you will assign it, it might give you an error. Why? Because by default all these 4 of them are nothing but of type integer. They come in the default category of integer only. So long is also coming in the category of integer only, which is int. So now how we will do the differentiation that no, this number is a long, it's not integer. So what we will do is, after writing the entire number, we will just put this L. Either we can put the lowercase l or we can put the uppercase L. Both will works, right? So now this indicates that okay, so B is a variable and it is having a literal. That literal is of type long. So this is how we will do, right? Now when we have float and double, so by default the nature of the float is also double. So we are having a float here. Float is consist of less less memory, float size is lesser if we compare with double, right? So for example, I am writing float, not assignment, float f equals to 15.6. Now this constant 15.6 will not treat it as a float. It will treat it as doubled only. Why? Because this is having by default the value, like for example, all these 4 is having by default value as integer. So these both of them by default their value is float. Sorry, double. By default their value is float. So now how to make this number is float? How to tell to compiler that this is not a double number but it's a float number? Very easy. Just go ahead and put f here. Either you can put a small f or you can put the capital F. Both will works fine, right? So this is nothing but the floating point literal. Now we have checked integer literal, we did the floating point. Now in double, for example, when you are using double, you will write double. Let's say I'm writing D and I'm writing 15.9. Now, but I didn't use any letter here that indicates that whether it's double or not. The reason is we already know that float and double both is having by default double only, isn't it? So now if I will leave it like that, it is fine, no issue. But if I wanted to add a letter here, so I can add either small d or you tell me. Yes, exactly, the capital D. So we can use either, isn't it? So this was our floating point numbers. Then we are having character and boolean. So basically character are those letters which is in Java we are having 2 byte in character. The reason is why we are having 2 byte, because it also accepts a Unicode, isn't it? But whenever we are storing a value in character, that value will be the single letter only. For example, I am writing here char, ch. Let me erase that. I have written equal here. For example, let's say I am writing here char ch equals to AB. So this is not valid actually, we cannot put 2 letters. So in char we are only having the single letter, right? In order to I have to put more than 1 letter. For example, I am storing a name of person. So you guessed it out what I will do? Exactly, I will use a string. String is a class, right? And let's say I am using string st, which is equals to Ali, my surname. So we can put like that. Yes. So this is how we can do that. Now we have discussed about the float, we have discussed about double, char and boolean. Now boolean is a data type which is having only 2 literals, and literals are either it can be false or it can be true. Let's just write it. For example, let's say I am writing here boolean and I am writing here b, which is equals to false, right? And here I am writing again boolean. I'm making it this variable as, let's say I am making a variable as hi, hi, and I am making it true, right? So these are the 2 constant literals which comes in the category of boolean, true and false. By default boolean is false, right? So either value can be used here. So now one question is that we are writing the numbers, that is okay, we are using it, the numbers that generally we are writing in our day-to-day life also, we are using decimal numbers. So now the meaning of the decimal number are those numbers which are in the category of base 10. Our Java compiler can accept all these 4 number system. So these are 4 common number system which we have. This is decimal, this is octal, this is hexadecimal, and this is a binary. Most of the time we are using decimal only. For example, when I am declaring here, let's say integer int, b is equals to 10. So we have used the int this only, that is the decimal number system, right? Now if for example, if I want to write this 10 in the form of binary number, like for example in this number, in this form I wanted to write. So what I have to do is I will write int, I can write this b2, let me make it b1 and b2, okay? Now what I will do is, so I want to write the binary, so I have to first write 0, then I have to write small b. This will indicate that the number whatsoever right now we are writing after 0b, it's nothing but the binary number, right? So for example, in In binary form, the value of a 10 is nothing but 1010. And how do I know that? We can calculate it. So this is nothing but 0.0, which is 1. This is 0.0. This is 2 power 0. This is 2 power 1. This is 2 power 2. And this is 2 power 3, which is nothing but 8. And this is 4. And this is 2. And 2 power 0, any number having power 0 is 1, isn't it? So now 1 multiplied by 0, we are having 0. Now 2 multiplied by 1, we are having 2 from here. Then 4 multiplied by 0, again we are having 0, because any number multiplied by 0, it gives you result as 0. And now 8 multiplied by 1, which is nothing but 8. If we add all of them, 8 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, which is nothing but, yes, 10. So that's how we can write it. Okay, so for example, if you wanted to write octal and hexadecimal, so it is having also some form. That form you can follow. For example, in the octal you have to start with 0 only. When you are starting a number with 0, so that will be the number in the octal form. For the hexadecimal, you have to start with 0x, right? Either you can use uppercase x like this, or you can use the lowercase x like this, right? Both are valid. So these are some of the forms which is available, number system form in our coding, in our Java, that we can use them and we can assign them numbers. Most of the time, you know, when we are coding on scientific calculations where we need binary number systems and all this stuff, so it is very useful at that category. So as you know that literals are nothing but they are the constant values. These values are fixed, that do not change during the execution of the program. So you can write this definition about the literal, right? Okay, so now you are able to see this chart, which is I have pasted here. This chart is nothing but it is telling you the range and the default value, right? So you can make notes from this chart. This chart is explaining you about what's the value of each primitive data type, right? What is its range? For example, you can see the byte range, you can see the short range. So you can use this chart and you will be going to, you know, understand the ranges, isn't it? So that was all about it. In the next video, we will be going to do some different topic which is for your ICSE boards. So yeah, so that was all about it for the today's video. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Keep on practicing, because it's very important. Java is the programming language, and the more you will code, the more you will practice, the easier you will get it, right? Thank you so much.